We're talking the hot 10 comics of the year, according to Overstreet, and we're going to get into it right now. All right, so we are in countdown mode. If we do a video every week from now until the end of the year, we can cover the top 10 modern, copper, silver, and all-time top 10 comic books.
Interesting.
Ooh, how does that sound, guys?
The end of the year is the good time for the countdowns.
Oh, I'm ready to count it down.
Well, we're going to start it off with modern. Okay, I feel like we should start with the new and end with the bang and kick this list off at number 9, because we have a 3-way tie for number 9. We're going to be referencing the Overstreet Price Guide, 48th edition, 2018.
Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe button, and we're about to dive into this list.
Let's do it. All right, so we have a 3-way tie at number 9. Number 9 on this list, we have Spawn, issue number 1, the black cover. Didn't even know this was a thing until today. Jeff looked at me and he's like, how do you not know this cover?
Actually, the Spawn black and white.
Ooh, correction already, but I do appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So it's a pretty cool book. I'll be honest with you. It's being black and white is still pretty spectacular looking.
Yeah, it's super low print. It's a book right now where all these prices that we're going to go over is at near mint minus, according to the 48th edition of the Overstreet, $225 right now. And that's an increase of 13% year over year. And this came in place at number 10 last year. So it now being in tie at number 9, we're actually seeing an increase of this book. And it's not surprising because we do know a Spawn movie is in the works.
Jamie Foxx.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. And with the success of Venom, we know McFarlane is excited about Spawn hitting theaters once again. Another character that should be getting his own movie franchise is Tony Chu. Tied for number 9, we have Chu number 1.
It's one of the very first comic books you lent me.
Yeah, how did that go over?
We were working at the bank together, and you said, Ryan, you need to read Hellboy and you need to read Chu. And then I read them, mostly in the bathroom at the bank on my breaks.
That's right.
I took very long breaks at the bank. I did not enjoy working at the bank. I love you, Tom, but I
right.
like to hide in the bathroom and read comics.
Yeah, Ryan would take these extra long breaks, and then the staff would be like, what's Ryan doing? I'm like, he's probably pooping. Right,
or reading comics.
And then when you come out, I'd be like, all right, so what'd you think? What'd you think? People
How was your
like,
bathroom experience,
Yeah,
Ryan?
tell me about your bathroom experience.
Yes.
But Chu number 1, another book tied at 225, and we haven't seen an increase year over year. This is just because it's a fantastic book, and there have been talks about it getting optioned, but nothing yet. Then last to tie at number 9, we have Preacher number 1.
Definitely deserves to be on this list of modern books for sure. Obviously, it has a TV show. Great read. Just a solid read. I recommend picking up the trades as fast as possible.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that's kind of in the Sandman arena, where if someone's going to recommend a book, they're like, oh, if you read Sandman, you're going to love it. It's amazing. Preacher, for those like mature audiences, it's like, yeah, this is great comic book writing. Garth Ennis goodness.
I haven't read either one.
Yikes.
Preacher or Sandman. I got a lot of homework to do.
We got to fix that, man.
Go find a bathroom and start reading it.
That's right.
All right. And now we have another tie at number 7.
So at number 7 comes Walking Dead 19, which is first appearance of one of the longest lasting characters in this series, Michonne, who really is everyone's favorite sword-wielding, badass, zombie-killing female heroine out there. So this for sure deserves to be on the list, considering the impact The Walking Dead has, obviously. Right. So I'm a big fan of this book, and the cover is just classic.
Definitely. This is one of those ones that I actually speculated on prior to the show, featuring her at the end of season 2. I think that's what it was.
2 or 3, I think, is when she came in.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm a little rusty on my Walking Dead timeline as well. But this book hasn't seen a change year over year. It's just still on this list. What's this going for?
So this book comes in at $250. No change year over year. Still at number 7. The show, like we mentioned, is long-lasting, and she is still on the show, not just despite the book, but the show itself. So hopefully there might be some increases and interest levels continue to peak.
Yeah, she's going to be getting a lot of screen time, so it's a good bet. And it's a good book to make this list. Now, another good book to make this list is another Walking Dead Robert Kirkman creation.
Also tied for number 7 on the list is Invincible number 1, also by Robert Kirkman. It's going for $250, which is a 43% increase over last year, which is probably because of the TV series that Amazon is about to start producing based on Invincible. It's going to be a cool animated show.
Ooh, it's a good bet right there. It's a great story. I've read a ton of Invincible.
I'm not even really a big Kirkman fan, but I enjoy Invincible quite a bit.
And this was actually 12th on the list last year. So we're seeing it increase a number of slots. People are speculating this book, but for good reason.
Makes sense.
Coming in at number 6, we have another personal favorite of mine. And if you're a fan of the character, you're likely a fan of the writer and artist Eric Powell, The Goon, number 1. Now, although there hasn't been a whole lot of stuff talked about this year about The Goon, we're not seeing a movie, we're not seeing another animated film or anything like that. We're not even seeing a Kickstarter this year. This is just one of those independent titles that's a fan favorite, holding strong. At number 6, $300. And this is an increase of 9%. So without a whole lot of conversations happening about this book, it's still moving up. People want it because it's not just a good story, it's a good book to speculate on.
Coming in at number 5, we have Walking Dead issue number 2.
Wait, number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Another one?
The second issue of Walking Dead.
Jeez, maybe there'll be a third one on this list. There's so many Walking Dead shots on this list.
That's so mysterious. This book is valued at $360 right now.
Oh, according to Overstreet, yeah.
According to Overstreet, yes. It is a 3% increase over last year.
Okay, and then what did this place at last year?
That's a good question.
Also number 5.
Also number 5.
Yeah, no change.
Hasn't moved much.
It's interesting because Walking Dead makes this place regularly on like the top modern list, but there's so much worry about this show with people leaving.
Right.
But it's holding strong in 2018. Interesting.
It's scary if you think about that book because it's a lot of the speculation is you feel is based on a show, and everyone feels a show is going to end. So you think that
show will never end, unfortunately.
Now it's like even when we went to New York, we heard Kirkman talking about it. He said he wants to see another decade of Walking Dead on TV, and he was boasting about how AMC has nothing else. So, like, even in the face of Preacher, kind of laughing at it, going, "Yeah, they still got nothing else. Like, they don't have anything on Walking Dead."
I don't think Fire Ryan can stand another decade of Walking Dead.
I don't think I can either. Even the comic.
Ooh, this next comic though, I do have a. Hey, Ryan, you actually probably don't even care for this next comic either. But this next one, number 4 on the list, is one of my personal favorite modern keys. I think it's one of yours, isn't it, Jeff?
So coming in at number 4 is one of my favorite books on this list, Batman Adventures 12. I mean, I've been a fan of Batman Adventures since it was a cartoon prior to this title coming out as a comic. And this is going to be the first appearance of Harley Quinn, which obviously she's made a huge splash in the entire industry across the board for movies, comics, cartoons. Yep. So love this book.
Oh, it's a great book. And this book, interestingly enough, was actually number 3 last year. So it actually lost the spot. It's gone down in popularity, but it actually has gone up in value. What's the price hike on this book, Jeff?
So Overstreet valued this book at near mint minus at $475, and it was last year at $450. So the increase is small, about looks like about 6%.
Okay. So it's still going up. People still banking on Harley Quinn. She's definitely a popular character. Everything she's in is pretty awesome.
Yeah, unexpected bounce back coming in 2019 for this book.
But why did it lose the spot? Well, because at number 3, what do we have, Ryan?
Venom Lethal Protector, that black cover.
Ooh, the error print of number 1.
Mm-hmm. Going for $500.
Ooh.
It makes sense. You know, this year Venom was a little bit bigger, so they kind of just swapped places, Venom and Harley Quinn.
That's right. This is actually, we know now today that Venom is beating a number of movies. It's crazy.
It did a lot better than I thought it would.
It did way better than I think even the people in the movie thought it would.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This book, switching the placement to number 3, is actually up 25% year over year. And that $500 mark, that's pretty low in near mint minus. That book is seldomly sold raw. And when it's certified, it typically goes for a pretty penny.
We actually just finished covering the whole series of Venom Lethal Protector not that long ago. You should check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Hit the link. Moving on to number 2 on the list. I can't recommend this enough if you have a child at home, because this was a book that got me into reading as a young adult, really child. Bone, Jeff Smith. This is classic independent comics at its best. Number 1, a first print, by the way, valued at $850 in near mint minus, and I think that is even low.
Yeah, I think it's pretty low as well. And do, like Tom mentioned, make sure you're aware of the printing, because the difference is only the color of the title Bone. So it's very easy to get confused. And I think there was 5, 6, 7 printings. I mean, there's a lot out there. So
Wow.
there's many times where I was like, did I just win the lottery and get the right one? And I did not. So it's really easy to get confused.
That's one of the titles that whenever I find a single digit one, I'm not excited until I open it because it's like, oh, it's the 17th printing. It's like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, you know, those kind of books where there's so many printings that if you find that first print and it's single digit, whew, you just hit the lottery. It's super scarce. And number one is that book. Awesome. And looking at a 6% increase year over year, this book, nothing optioned right now. It's just a classic independent title.
Seems like a waste. They should be making some kind of bone cartoon.
Oh, it's going to happen. Something bone is going to happen eventually. Speaking of bones, number one on the list, Zombified. Changed modern comics. Really.
It really did.
Coming on the scene, changing modern comics, getting people into collecting, getting people into going to Comic-Con, getting people into cosplaying, getting people into like being a fan of geekdom in the early 2000s. Robert Kirkman making the list at number one, Walking Dead, number one.
I can't hate that hard. Walking Dead did change everything.
And I think it really brought the success that a TV show can have in relation to a comic as well.
That's true. People are taking comics more seriously, in part because of how successful that show was.
Yes, so are studios. They're looking at all these comic publishers and looking at all these creations, these pieces of content that are coming out on this medium as opportunities to just make something unique, something that not just fans want to see, but just bringing interesting stories to life. And they did that with Walking Dead, and they were very happy they did.
Everyone's trying to be the next Walking Dead now.
This book valued at near mint minus at $1,200. And I know that this book around that 9.8, what would you put this book at? If you're walking the con floor, right around that, what, $2,000 mark?
Yeah, for sure. 2,000.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's just the baseline number, give or take $100.
Right. Kind of fluctuates a little bit here or there. This book is up 4% year over year. Again, interesting with the big changes in this show. I'm excited to see what happens next year. We know that everybody involved on the show are very hopeful about this transition that they're doing. Robert Kirkman is looking at years in the future. He's already got a lot of stuff planned out, and he is definitely confident in his team of writers who are all putting this show together, as well as the comic book that's still ongoing.
Yeah, he was definitely oozing confidence the last time we saw him when he was discussing that over in New York.
Definitely.
Don't we have a Walking Dead giveaway that we're going to be doing?
That's right, Ryan. I'm glad you mentioned that. Making the list at number 7, we had Walking Dead 19.
Right.
And recently, Image put out blind bags of the hottest comics from the Walking Dead series. And of course, Walking Dead 19 made the list. All right, Ryan, we have 3 of these. How many giveaways should we do?
We should give these to 3 people.
Oh, okay. We're going to do a giveaway, 3 different winners. And how could the audience enter to win one of the Walking Dead 15th anniversary number 19 sealed variants?
Comment below and let us know which is your favorite top 10 from this list.
Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh, while you're down there, do that, because then you will be able to do what?
Win one of those 3 and geek responsibly?
That works for me, man. Enough said. Thank you so much for watching the video. And remember, if you would like to help support the podcast, support the production, and you shop on eBay, you can do just that by shopping on eBay. You click the link below, and rather than paying eBay the full fee that you would otherwise pay, we get a kickback. We get half, and you can help support the podcast.